Now, listeners, healing can be medicine, it can be meaning, it can be data, it can be faith, nervous system, and community. So, today we are talking about holistic and spiritual healing without hype and without pretending that it is simple. Welcome back, listeners, to the Mindful Journey podcast. I am Sana, your host, and today I am with Kim McCarthy and Kellie Hazlett. Now, let me share a bit about Kellie and Kim with all of your listeners. They create conversations that sit in the real gaps between healthcare, caregiving, work, and housing, and the human cost of all that. So, we are going to explore holistic healing, spiritual healing, and what's actually helpful in real life without, of course, replacing medical care or selling certainty. So, Kelly and Kim, welcome to the show. And as always, it is such an honor to have both of you here with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Amazing. So I would like to start with both of you. Uh, and this is something personal. It's about we get moments, or sometimes these are events or epiphanies that kind of redefine or refine our lives. It kind of gives us that sense of purpose. So for both of you, what was the moment that pulled each of you into this work? Not the professional part, but more as a human.
I'll go first. This is Kim, and I come from a people strategist background. My degrees, my experience, my employment has always been within the corporate executive setting, and um, I mean, really, it's a longer story, but think of it as I just had a spiritual awakening where I did not feel fulfilled in the corporate setting. And the people strategies I was providing was really on behalf of the corporate and not the people. And, as individuals, we all have things that are going on in our lives that are separate from our professional working lives. And at one point, I just kind of I just kind of broke down and said, I don't enjoy this anymore and I need some joy and happiness, fulfillment in my life. And that's when I started providing caregiving simply because I felt that I was providing value that I didn't feel from the corporate side. I just felt more abuse from the corporate side. So by by entering the caregiving arena, I found that value. I experienced that value, not only for myself, but also from the people I work with. And fast forward, I I shifted or transitioned my personal business to more people awareness and people centered for value. And that value is not always in the workplace, that we need to be more holistic with our lives. They're not separate from professional, from personal, from family or obligations. So that's how I came into it. How about you, Kelly?
It's a different story from my perspective. I've had open accept help and support, which was a big step for me. Obviously, must have been necessary. I needed to learn that it takes a tribe to walk through a chronic illness, and by allowing that, I get to connect with great people like Kim. Besides my family, because they're the ones keeping me present in this paradigm and this life right now. But I journeyed on many occasions. I've been working with, well, decades with walking people through grief and bereavement. So I switched out of I guess, the corporate world, the business world, all of that, just by making choices of experience, lived experience, and sharing that one on one with grieving widows and grieving parents and all that. So it's unnatural for me to do anything else but companion somebody or mentor somebody. And now, the coin is flipped, and it's my turn to be mentored by those who have journeyed before me and those who are, helping care for me. Um, so yeah, it when I pull out of it in the big picture and I look down, I'm like, boy, it's been a big journey the last couple of years for me. But it's growth. It's growth in the right direction, and obviously it was necessary.
It is. It is. And this is so wholesome. I mean, different backgrounds, but there's a connection here in which both of you have come and you are working towards something which is bigger. And I think that is something, there's something human about it. I mean, we can have, two persons can have absolutely different opinions and different viewpoints about a particular topic or a particular aspect. But what is the bigger picture here? What is that bigger, that, dream, or that, I should not say ambition, but dream, or that, you know, aim that you're trying to achieve here? What are your values, and how beautifully your values are aligning with each other, and first of all with yourself. So I think it's a beautiful blend of how it started with this inner realization that something that I'm doing is not aligning right now. I need to take that step, specifically for Kim and Kelly. I mean, for both of you, I think this is such a beautiful blend of alignment. In in fact, not just only in healing or caregiving, but from all aspects, of us as a human. So, and specifically, I connected with at a level where, because something similar I also experienced 3 years back. I mean, I was there in that corporate setting, but then um, it completely like snapped, everything like changed. And first of all, I felt that emotion of, that everything around me is falling down. It's not working in favor of me. Nothing is left right now to cherish. So, what exactly I'm going to do? But then, that's why life is kind of the biggest teacher we have. So I really appreciate both of you in such a short time sharing it in such a beautiful way. And let's begin with understanding the holistic or the spiritual healing, Kelly and Kim. So to both of you, um, now it's often assumed that holistic or spiritual healing, it's either anti-medicine or some magical thinking in there, like this magic pill or potion or something which is woo-woo. So what misconception do you most often have to correct?
Um, I think it's a mindset shift. I have a medical background, so I
Mm,
swam into that area for about 15 years. So I saw the good and the bad. It's a necessary um, situation. A lot of medical people have good hearts and they do things for good intentions, and we save lives. I've been a part of that part as a respiratory therapist. However, I see the other ugly side where insurance is dictating what care is provided. Um, and that's that dichotomy of choice. Take a medication with 20 different side effects and then take another medication to fix those side effects, or try. And with the epiphany of AI and having internet the last 20 years, you can make those choices because you can find substances that fix the deficiencies that your body's struggling with and why your immune system failed. And so that's the route I've gone, and I've been very committed and haven't. Um, and I know it's a very slow process. You have to be extremely consistent when you're taking supplementation to move the body. It's a very complex organ. It's an organism. I mean, we are a bacteria, virus, and a parasite all put together in one. Um, and once you can appreciate that and understand the turtle wins the race, not the rabbit. You don't have to be going, going, going and being present. Um, all of that to me feels right. It's one of the puzzle pieces that I put together to orchestrate my healing rather than relying on others to heal me. It's myself that has to put me into that present mind state.
I think that from my perspective, from people strategies, um, I noticed right around my spiritual awakening that we are highly compartmentalized. We separate our professional lives from our personal lives, from our lifestyle lives, and nothing seems to be integrated. And I think that that's the downfall, really, of humanity because we don't allow ourselves to be human. We have to be an executive or a line worker, or we define ourselves by these titles, and then we don't move away from them, and then we embrace them. So when it comes to a medical diagnosis, to transition this or blend it with Kelly, uh, there are so many people who just blindly accept one simple diagnosis and not look outside to how this impacts all other parts of their lives. And I think that when you put all of those pieces together holistically, then you're literally putting your puzzle back together so that it can start functioning as a whole again, whether it's functioning within your community, functioning within your career, your ambitions. Um, so we need to stop compartmentalizing things because that's what I have direct experience with that, because it affects your nervous system and how your nervous system is regulated, and then that impacts how you react, how you receive information, and then react on it.
Mm, that makes sense. That makes sense. And you your work, it lives in the gaps between systems. Um, Once again, to both of you, I mean, over time, um, what do those gaps do to a person's nervous system and identity? Because if I double down, I know we have less time, but if I double down on this, Kelly and Kim, I mean, I have had conversations where, I think the biggest kind of here, the pain point and this is a kind of where, the pharma industry and the wellness industry, it always goes into extremes. There will be a group of people or this category where people will side with the pharma industry and completely dismiss the wellness industry, and then people who are supporting wellness industry, they'll absolutely find pharma as evil. But then when we try to do our own research, we try to seek information to make informed decisions here. Most of the medical terms and languages, like in the way they're marketed, it's very jargonish. It's kind of very complicated. So that is something that I personally feel is kind of a huge gap in there. But I would love to know both of your perspectives here.
Well, using your example, I find the medical jargon and how that information is presented um, is highly prohibitive. It doesn't really bring in the client, the patient, the person you're talking to, because all you're doing in my experience is just receiving a presentation. It's not a one-on-one, let's talk about your results. So it's more of a presentation. Here it is. Here's the answer. We'll see you in 6 weeks or so. And all in a 15-minute meeting. And that's prohibitive.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But Kelly could probably feel something very different.
Yes, yes. Please go ahead, Kelly.
I go once a year because I'm in the system and I have no choice to be in the system because of insurance. But other than that, you know, I don't receive any expertise or because of the label that I'm dealing with. It's terminal, so they just don't really bother with you. Um, I feel that that's a blessing. If I were in a journey with some other terminal disease or some other like cancers or something, there would have been all these options for treatments for me, and I would have had to make those decisions, and they would be tough. I would be having to choose, it's for my kids and my husband and all of that. But with this, there's nothing they can do, so I'm on my own. So I find it very ironic that I'm walking in these kind of shoes. Yeah, to it's funny to me now. Isn't funny in the early days, but
Yeah. Okay.
so I think it's funny. I'm like, nope, there is no choice. So whatever I come up with the help of my family and my caregiver, that's what I do, and keep in that direction. But I can see it from both ends. I worked in the medical field, so I acute cares, critical care, all of that. You know, it's their hands are tied. Everything's based on money and insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand. Huh, and so when you both were sharing about yourself and the journey here, a kind of question that came to my mind, and once again, because at some level, I personally connect with the emotional toll sometimes, the work pressure or the caregiving it can take. So in all of that, and uh, where does holistic healing actually show up? Yeah, because it this healing can itself look like an exhausting to-do list. So how exactly it shows up, and what do you both encourage people to stop doing first?
First, well, be open to trusting your own inner self, your gut, as if people always kind of quietly say, "Oh, trust your gut." It's so true. If you go to a medical professional or, functional doc, trust what they say and then play it into yourself. I would love to be doing muscle testing, and that's a really big tester. That way you can feel into what they're telling you. But don't let people railroad you into doing something that just doesn't feel right. I've made those mistakes. I have walked that journey because I felt, well, they must know better because, they claim to have all this expertise. And it wasn't good for me, and it set me back and set me back. So, what I have learned from myself is trust me first and not what everybody else is saying. There's a lot of information out there. It's quite overwhelming.
Yes. Yes. Kim.
I completely agree with Kelly. You have to know your internal compass first, so that then you can hear what's going on outside, how you're receiving information, and if that aligns with how your body responds to it. So I do. The muscle testing is amazing in that regard.
Hmm, interesting. It is interesting. And I think the whole essence of it is that if healing requires perfection, I think usually becomes another form of pressure. I think even before even putting any actionable into healing, as Kelly and Kim, you perfectly pointed out, there is an information overload here right now. So it can be very, very overwhelming to even identify what's the first step to begin with. So thank you so much for to both of you for sharing that. But then at least let's give at least one beginning point, or maybe a starting point to begin with for our listeners. So if someone is curious, Kelly and Kim, but then allergic to hype, what can be a grounded way to start exploring holistic or spiritual healing?
Well, I can speak from if you've been recently diagnosed, because unfortunately, the rate of diagnosis has jumped significantly in the last couple of years. HealingALS.org has been a huge help for me. There's this course called 47 Steps, and it really baby steps you into a beautiful approach on how to heal simplistically. So they take all of, And everything's, cited. This isn't just random information. It's been filtered. We have a medical team. So you can trust the source and then just slowly walk through this program, and that will get the body in tuned to really start healing because there's a lot of detoxing and a lot of variables there. So for me, that's been a huge help. And we've got a 1,000-person study that we're launching. So for people like me who want to live, number one, and try all different things, every month we put in a registry of the things that are working, the things that are making us feel better. And after a year, they're going to crunch all that data and see where it streamlines. That's where AI is beautiful. They'll see all the commonalities of different people testing and then, make recommendations to that avail. And, that's where we're getting somewhere. Else, they've been doing drug trials for 20 years and they have nothing. I mean, nothing. So they spent a lot of money, but haven't done anything to move the needle at all. So I think this is the way. Observational study, letting those of us with courage join and fill out the registry so we can crunch this data and see what's really working for people. Because there are loads of people that are getting better. They're either stabilizing or improving and reducing their symptoms, or they're 100% reversed.
Yeah. Wow. Super, super. And Kim, do you have anything to add on to it?
Well, I've seen it firsthand. In late October of 2025 in Vegas, Healing ALS had an event, and it was absolutely amazing talking to the attendees, whether they have the diagnosis of ALS or they're caring for someone who has the diagnosis of ALS, that label, and knowing what they've gone through in the traditional medical route as
Mm.
well as holistically. And it's amazing to see the results as from not just one methodology or modality, but so many, and so many people are benefiting from that information. So having more of that information getting out there um, is valuable.
It is. It is. Super. And uh, of course, I have to ask both of you if our listeners they would like to connect with you. You guys are also creating podcasts, which I believe, irrespective of any of the criticism out there, are actually such an effective channel. It's such an effective channel to have actually real and authentic, not curated conversations. If it is done with that intention, you are collaborators, you are behind healing through the quantum, then you have Thrive Collective podcast series. So if they would like to connect with both of you and listen to your podcast, reach out to you to share anything, what would be the easiest way?
They can get a hold of us through email. That's one method. Email is jumpinto at thepipelinestrategies.com. We have our social media on LinkedIn, YouTube. On YouTube, we have a podcast, Thrive Collective. And within that, Kelly and I have a dedicated podcast called Healing Through the Quantum. So we welcome you to send an email, jump into at thepipelinestrategies.com, or connect with us on social media.
Amazing, amazing. So, listeners, I'll have all the links mentioned in the show notes, so no need to worry about it, so that you can easily connect with Kim and Kelly. And as we wrap up, listeners, I really thank you, all of you. I really thank all of you for tuning into this episode um, because honestly, what I feel that conversations like this, they give you language and maybe a little steadiness. And it is a progress. Count it as a progress, listeners. You don't have to carry it all alone. And if you want more conversations that don't oversimplify pain, don't sell certainty, and still they are human, I encourage all of you to follow the mindful journey. We are here for the nuance and for the people living inside it. And Kim, Kelly, thank you so, so much once again to both of you for being here, for sharing your journeys, and for being the light out there to help other people out there who may be going through a similar journey or maybe something different, but they are ready to take help.
Well, we're here to help any of your viewers and listeners. We're here and open.
Absolutely. Thank you to both of you, and listeners, once again, thank you so much. This is your host Sana, and I will be catching you in the next episode. Till then, take care. Thank you.